Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Play Arts Kai The Dark Knight Trilogy Batman. This is number 1 in the set. I believe Bane was number 2. Haven't picked up Bane yet, but as soon as I found this, I was surprised that the comic book store nearby had these in stock. I just happened to go in after work one day, and they had one. One was all I needed. Spot immediately picked it up. I've been super excited about picking this up. I am very happy that I finally did. On the back of the package, you can see some of the images utilizing the actual figure. This is the figure and not screenshots of Christian Bale from Batman. Down below indicating Bane again. Collect all figures in the series. Each figure contains 26 points of articulation. This comes to us from the good folks at Square Enix. And on the side, actually the side doesn't really show anything, it just shows Play Arts Kai. But on the inside, you see not only the Batman and contents, which we'll get into a second, as well as a read-up. The read-up says, Days of Despair return with the ascent of a new villain. 8 years have passed since Batman disappeared. The city once filled with darkness is now a thing of the past. Gotham City eradicated organized crime and transformed into a peaceful metropolis thanks to the enforcement of the Dent Act. However, Selina Kyle's warning that a storm is coming and Bane's attack on the stock market begins a torrent of destruction. Followed by despair and suffering, a hurricane of strife is building with the Batman in the center. Agony, discord, and the battle with the mighty evil. As the Batman, Bruce Wayne fought crime, but Gotham City became such a peaceful place that there was no longer a need for the Batman. Since then, Wayne, burdened by the conflict and struggles of being a dark hero, became a recluse, but Gotham City's near decade of peace came abruptly to an end when Bane made his attack. The people of Gotham City needed the Batman once more. Despite carrying the scars of his past battles and being burdened by his suffering, Wayne makes the decision to don the cowl once again and return as the Batman. And again, fantastic artwork on the side there of Batman. This is one of those figures there, when I got them home, the geek in me just wanted to get this out of package and get him out on display. And I thought to myself, no, I'm going to wait until I get him reviewed and then we'll appreciate him more and I'll be able to geek out as much as you guys have. So what I'm going to do is take a break. I'm going to get this opened up, and when we come back, yes indeed, we are going to be having a look at the Dark Knight Trilogy Batman. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Upon opening Batman out of the box, the first thing you want to do is actually assemble his display base. It wasn't really too involved. You had a couple of pieces that you had to put together, but you get a nice display base. Now, my only concern with it being a clear plastic is I'm not sure how long something like this will last. I feel as if putting something like this together, ultimately these pieces at some point are going to break, being that they are a clear plastic. But you have an extendable arm at the top, a bendable arm, and you can actually pop these pieces off, and there are actually there's two different sized clamps to hold the waist. The smaller one, I think, was advised in the instructions. I built the larger one, and I'm going to put that on the end. I feel as if this could have been metal. Maybe I might have been asking too much, but I feel like this should have been a metal piece. Having it clear doesn't take anything away from Batman, but I'm worried about the durability and longevity of this, and I feel as if this isn't going to last the test of time. The figure, as you can see, easily stands without this display base, but I feel as if this should have been at least metal. Anyways, moving that aside, the interesting thing that's cool too is that it comes with a little device that you can tighten, because even though it is plastic, there are some screws that you have to apply, and this little tool allows you to tighten these screws. So I thought that was kind of a nice little touch. I ended up just using my fingers for most of it. Other accessories that comes with Batman before you look at the figure is he'll come with his grapple gun, which is neat. Some nice detail too. You got the gold going on there and some black. You get yourself a Batarang. It doesn't fold. It creases as if it should fold, but it actually doesn't fold, and I can understand why that would make it flimsy. But you get a Batarang. You get yourself two grenades. All of which seem to easily fit in Batman's hands. You get two of those. And you get also 4 extra hands. 4 extra hands, which we will get into in a second, right after we look at this beautiful figure. So you get 4 hands. Moving those out of the way. Let's first, well, I shouldn't say let's first. Let's have a look at Batman. This is a gorgeous toy. It's not the first Play Arts Kai figure that Spot has picked up. I picked up actually a couple. I would say, though, of all the ones I picked up, and I don't say this as a fanboy, I'm trying to generally look at this with an unbiased opinion. Looking at this figure and having it in hand, this is probably one of my favorite Square Enix figures I have picked up to date. Let's first have a look at his face. His face is incredible. I don't really have many gripes. I think the detailing is done exceptionally well. Batman's eyes kind of get lost due to the fact that they're so sunken in and you got the darker coloring of the mask. But that's kind of what you expected with other figures when we got them for Batman as well, because Batman's eye sockets are a lot smaller on this cowl. The mouth is painted pretty good. And while I've seen a couple of other reviews out there where they've indicated that there's been chipping of paint on the edge of Batman's cowl, luckily I can say that the figure that I've picked up here doesn't have that problem. So I was a little worried that it was going to be across the board. Luckily it doesn't seem to be the case. It might just be the odd couple of ones that have that issue. But the detailing, the paint is done well. It's not black, it's more of a darker gray, I think, that encompasses most of Batman's coloring here. But I think that gray works well. If it was just a straight dark gray, or even into the realm of a black, I feel as if a lot of these details would be lost. Now, I'm going to admit, I'm not the biggest fan of the Dark Knight Rises and Dark Knight costume. I'm personally more of a fan of the Batman Begins costume, but still, I love this figure. Some of the details you can see on the emblem of his chest, the plates of his armor going on there, and of course his utility belt. I assumed, I'm just going to move his cape out of the way here. His cape is actually really neat, and I'll get into that in a second. I assumed from the back of his cape there was a section, and maybe I'm missing something here, where you can put his grapple gun. It doesn't look like it really pegs in anywhere. It's probably just intended to be a loose piece. I'm not devastated by that by any stretch of the imagination. But I think the face is really nice. With Square Enix, sometimes with the Play Arts Kai figures, I've noticed sometimes they tend to go a little more of an anime style to the way that they... Like Kratos, I liked Kratos, but I felt like not only was the face painted slightly off, but I felt like the face was a little more... It wasn't as scruffy, like, for example, like some of the NECA Kratos figures. Whereas I feel like Batman here feels very movie style. It doesn't feel... And I don't say that for every Play Arts Kai, but I know some Play Arts Kai do seem to have more of a anime vibe to it. Even like the Catwoman had a little more of an anime style to it. This Batman's very rooted in the movies in which this figure is based from. Just a gorgeous figure. He does, like I had mentioned, he does come with interchangeable hands, and we're just going to take his hand and ever so slightly unpeg it. Seems to come off, actually, when I was looking at the figure earlier, it seems to come off a lot easier than Catwoman, and likely it might stem from it being It might stem from it being a larger peg because it's a larger arm on Batman. Just going to peg the hand into place, like so, being ever so careful. And you have Batman with his open hand. I mean, in this hand, you can put the grapple gun in his hand, like so. And actually, this hand particularly has a trigger on it. Brian Spot can actually get it in his hand. Has a trigger in it where you can have him holding and having his hand actually on the trigger of the gun, which is good. Same idea with the Batarang. Now the Batarang, you kind of have to just sandwich in there as opposed to really clipping into place, like so. I mean, I'm looking at the other hands. The other hands, like that hand maybe is a better fit for the Batarang because it is a little bit smaller. It also would, it probably would easily house the grenades as well, which you might have to just sandwich in between his fingers to get him to properly hold it. You know what? Maybe the grenades would hold better in his larger hand that I've got right now. And let's just have a look here. See, like the Batarang would probably hold a lot better. Yeah, would hold a lot better in this hand than the hand that I've currently got him holding. So I mean, you know, there's options which I really like. Having interchangeable hands is never a bad idea. One of the other accessories that I want to mention, and it's not so much an accessory, but is his cape. Batman's got this gorgeous, gorgeous cape that drapes across and actually drapes around to the front as well. It comes across more like a rubber than it does in the movie. The movie, it's more of a fabric. But the interesting thing about the cape is it's actually riveted on its own hinge. If I can zoom the camera in here for a second, all the way in there, you can see it. The cape is actually independently hinged on its own joints. What will that mean? Well, that means for starters, you can move the cape further back, as I'm doing right here, and it freely stays in place. You can then also take the cape and extend it out. Now, granted, on the back, it's not going to look as impressive, but you can extend the cape further out. It means that if you want, you can drape the cape to the side, like so, and you can have Batman with the cape blowing behind him. You can also bring the cape around this way. You can kind of have it draping forward. Or even as the back of the package indicated, you could kind of have the front of the cape kind of draping forward, and then the other cape just kind of billowing to the side. And then you can have Batman posed like so. I mean, you get a lot of options, and that's the beauty of like these capes being independent as they are. You get a lot of different options with it, and that I love. Now, in the way of Batman's articulation, I believe he does have, again, 29 points of articulation. He has a fair bit, so you can get a lot of movement out of him. For starters, his head is on a ball joint, which ball joint at the top, from what I can tell, ball joint in his lower neck as well. So you get lots of movement here. You can get some really iconic, sulky Batman if you want. Or you can have him, you know, looking up. Alfred, I need you. His arms are on two separate joints here. One joint will allow you to move the arms forward, like so, or back. The second joint is actually on the shoulder itself, which means you can then move the arm forward and back, and then from there you can actually then still move the arm around. You kind of have to play with it a bit to get it to properly sit in place. Of course, you don't want to have it too far out. Sometimes it might look a little awkward, but then Batman has a bend in the elbow, also rotates in the forearm. He rotates and hinges in the hand. His upper torso is on an independent ball joint. His lower torso is on an independent ball joint. His legs go forward, back, out. Slight rotation in the thigh. He's got a from the looks of it, yes, he does. He has a double hinge in the knee, and a hinge rotation in the foot as well. So again, like you can get a lot of different poses from Batman here. And I guess it stands to reason too, it's good that you get yourself a display base also, because with that display base, getting him in some iconic stances, which Spot's not necessarily doing right now, but you get the idea. Having that display base kind of keeps him mobile. He's not going to topple over or anything like that either. Final thoughts for this figure. Now, with the Play Arts Kai, the other figures that I've reviewed, I've kind of gone in and I've looked at them, and I think some figures like the God of War, I was so excited to get Kratos, and when I got him out of the package and I looked at him and everything else, I liked the figure, and I think I might have even hyped him up more in the review because I was just so excited at Kratos, but flaws are clearly evident with Kratos. Looking at something like Batman here, I can really appreciate something like this. And for me, if somebody was to say to me, well, Spot, what would you recommend for a Batman figure without having to pay some of the really expensive prices that you would pay with a Hot Toys Batman? I mean, I love the detail of a Hot Toys Batman, but I don't want to pay the $300 to $500 that would come with buying a figure like that. What would you suggest is a good alternative? A good alternative to a figure such as that is to get a figure like this. For me, personally, this is a kind of figure that if you don't want to spend the money on getting a Hot Toys version of Batman, this to me is the closest thing you're going to get to a Hot Toys. At a price range of about $60 to $80, depending where you're picking them up. I believe I picked this guy up for about $69. So with tax and everything, he came a little over $80. But he's definitely, by far, worth it. As a Batman fan, I am very pleased to have this on my display. And personally, this is by far my favorite piece to have on display in my collection right now. If you can find him, and now he's just popped up in comic book stores, as well as Bane, I believe, is out now as well. If you can find him, and you have, unfortunately, the money to shell out, because again, he's a little bit more expensive than a conventional figure. But if you have the money to shell out for this guy, definitely worth picking up. Definitely worth picking up. By far, this is, again, my favorite figure so far of Batman. Having said that, trying to look at really flaws of the figure, I really have a tough time honestly finding them. He's done exceptionally well. The articulation is there. I guess the only thing I could really say is I'm not a fan of the display base being plastic. This I worry in time is going to break. But I'm very happy that even without the display base, I think Batman easily stands well on his own. Batman, I'm going to give him a solid 10. Easily a solid 10. If you want a definitive Batman without paying the prices of Hot Toys, because I mean, anyone can easily say, well, you know what, the best toy to get for a Batman is Hot Toys. But if you don't have the money, honestly, a good alternative and a very rewarding alternative is to get the Play Arts Kai Dark Knight Trilogy Batman. Thanks for watching, guys. Certainly stick around. There are more toy spots heading your way. See you guys next time. And just an update to this video. There's actually a fifth hand. In case anybody was wondering, there's actually a fifth hand, which, looking at this fifth hand, this probably is the best suited one for the Batarang, as you can see right here. So there was a fifth hand, if anybody was wondering, or maybe perhaps you've got this toy yourself and you're wondering, well, wait a minute, Spot, pretty sure there was a fifth hand. You were absolutely correct. Spot just forgot that it was in the tray. But still an awesome figure, even with 5 hands. Gotta love this figure. See you guys later.